welcome to the latest episode of the Late Night Brew, where we talk brews first and then we get around to the other stuff. I'm Robert Bucktenica, also known as Buck, and tonight on the show with me is John Gallagher to discuss AVD, Microsoft's latest shiny toy. John, thanks for joining me.
No worries, mate. Glad to be back on again.
No, it's wonderful. Now, you know the drill, the important stuff.
Yes.
What brew are you having with me?
Well, that was, first of all, a terrible attempt at my accent. But this is a Heineken. And to be honest, I was hoping to bring on something a bit more exotic, but this was all I had in the fridge, so we'll have to do it, and I'm not fussy.
It's a brew. It works, you know.
Mm.
I myself have a wonderful topical kilt lifter Scotch ale.
I love it.
A wonderful tribute to you, my friend.
Superb.
And it is delicious. Scotch style ale. Awesome. So, what exactly is Azure Virtual Desktop, AVD?
Right, okay, so keeping this quite high level, Azure Virtual Desktop is Microsoft's PaaS offering for delivering Windows-based applications and desktops to end users. That there has been a heap of innovation in the last couple of years, and funnily enough, it's now September and it's went GA exactly 2 years ago. I did make quite an emphasis on the Windows part of that statement, and really, if you went back 3-4 months ago, it was WVD, Windows Virtual Desktop. So just a little call out, it's now called AVD, and I think really the sort of speculation is the fact that maybe in the near future we can also deliver Linux-based desktops and applications as well. But for now, it's basically Microsoft's cloud offering of how we basically securely deliver apps and desktops to end users.
Awesome. And a quick definition: PaaS, platform as a service.
So, platform as a service, yeah. And that's actually quite a key point, because to really get an understanding of the true value of the service, you might go back in time, go way back to like 25, 30 years ago. You had Windows NT, you had terminal services, and I think this notion of really improving upon 4 key pillars, which is improved management, improved access, improved performance and security, is something we've tried to do by centralizing all of this. But really, again, to your point, it being a platform service, with AVD, we're removing lots of that infrastructure and making it a much simpler thing to look after and manage. We had a great discussion with Tom Hicklings from Microsoft about 3-4 weeks ago, and we asked him a similar question, and his response was, it's like VDI without the I. It's like, here's your virtual desktop. You don't have to worry about all this surrounding infrastructure like brokers and gateway servers and load balancers and all that stuff that gets quite hard to manage.
Yeah. So with that, just to whet the appetites of the audience, what's a real quick high level touch point on its capabilities?
Well, one of the main ones that's been super attractive is the fact that in Azure, it's the only place you can do Windows 10 multi-session. Okay, that's a big win. It's been able to give that desktop at scale to multiple users, and you can have multiple users on the one desktop, and it means that you can really make the most of those resources. And like all things in public cloud, there is that almost fallacy that the cloud is cheaper, and it might not be in some scenarios, but really you have that option to be pretty careful and be controlled in how you're scaling up your servers and how you're bringing them down to really maximize on your efforts, your deployment. So it's pretty cool. But I mean, obviously we've got Windows 11 is coming around the corner pretty soon, and I believe that's also in preview as well. So I think one of the key things to add, off the back of discussing the potential of Linux coming as well, it doesn't really matter what you're coming from. If you're connecting from a Windows-based machine, if it's Mac, OS X, Android, even any device that's capable of running an HTML5 browser, you can connect from that anywhere into your virtual desktop securely and have all your Windows-based applications you have to use as part of your day-to-day business.
Yeah, I remember this was probably 10 years ago. We thought it was so cool that we could connect to a Citrix desktop from the Android phone of the time. So it's awesome it's I guess as a nerd, it's just neat, the tech, and it's still continuing and improving.
Yeah, I think that's been quite a big one, because there's many guys out there, guys and gals that are experts in the field, but because it's almost like Microsoft's, I guess, blessing of the VDI, or without going into the nuances of VDI versus server-based computing, ultimately you're delivering apps and desktops, but it's really their blessing of doing that at big scale, and a true native cloud offering versus just spinning up remote desktop services in Azure, which is possible and which is supported and which probably happens now still to this day. But I think that the more and more advantages we see coming from using AVD, what we can leverage it's making more and more sense, because most of the customers that are part of that ecosystem, they might have their E3, their E5 licenses, or like Windows 10 Enterprise. They can just leverage that, and again, all they need to do is worry about the compute and what they're actually using at various times. So it's definitely moving more and more towards that model. The sort of a licensing aspect is becoming less of a thing. We want money for the OS license. It's like, you know what, come in, consume it, and that's where it's at. And really looking back at the point about the Linux, Microsoft are developing their own Linux distribution, and it's like, well, that's not going to be a paid for OS license, and that's the whole point. It's given choice, given variety, and basically bringing more people onto the platform that's going to consume the services. So it's very much interesting times ahead, I'm sure.
Definitely. And that does unfortunately wrap up our time today. I hope that you got to enjoy a delicious drink and listen to John expound on AVD, and we have more episodes coming up. So stay tuned and get in touch to stay in the loop to learn more. Until then, take care of yourself. Cheers, mate.
Excellent. Cheers, Buck.